If you are a midlife woman or you're coming up on this powerful season of growth, this is the podcast for you. Welcome to Unraveling Together. I'm Samantha Graber, also known as Dr. Sam, seasoned holistic health physician and woman in the midst of midlife's unraveling. Unraveling Together is a place we talk about the things we just don't talk about, but so desperately need to as women. Together we untangle ourselves from our pasts and weave a beautiful web for a future we so deeply desire to bring to life. Grab a cup of chai, water, tea, or joe, and let's get to it. Perseverance is defined as the ability to stick to your goals and pursue them, even in the midst of challenges and setbacks. You may lose all of your assets. You may become physically ill, or you may encounter a million other obstacles on your journey towards success, but you continue to focus on your goal. You continue to move forward even after losing everything. You push on and finally accomplish your goals. This is precisely what having perseverance makes you do, and this is a trait that all successful people have in common. They persevere and never take the back seat when they are forced to face a challenge. This is exactly why they succeed. And if you want to succeed in your journey, you will need to build perseverance as well. So here are a few simple things that you can do to learn about persistence and to build your endurance. You need to know your goal. The first step to developing your perseverance is to know exactly what you want to achieve. You need to identify what you want so that you know what you need to work toward until the very end. Since you're getting reacquainted with your sense of curiosity more, let your passion guide you here. You know what to do. Now, there are a plethora of online programs to help you develop your goals. There is no magic to it. That said, some methods are better than others, and each of us needs to find a methodology that jives with the way we work. What works for me may not work for you, and what works for you may not necessarily work for me. Next, you must remove any self-doubt you may have. On your journey to achieving success, you will encounter numerous hurdles and challenges. One of the most frightening and debilitating obstacles you will have to overcome will be your self-doubt. This is an equally strong force, but opposite to self-confidence. There may come a time as you work towards accomplishing your goals when you will begin to doubt your abilities and lose your confidence, making it difficult for you to continue to move forward. This is why it is important for you to figure out how to remove self-doubt from the equation and replace it with persistence. Make a list of all your strengths and focus on those for however long it takes to shift your thinking. Tell yourself positive things about yourself and tell yourself that your strengths are enough to move you forward. Along with focusing on your strengths, you need to prepare affirmations around your self-doubt and tell yourself that you have faith in your abilities. Repeat these statements several times a day, and within a couple of weeks, you will find that your self-doubt has been reduced. Keep track of your progress by recording the steps that you take on your journey. This will help you to track your performance and allow you to become conscious of your accomplishments. When you make a note of your smaller accomplishments, you become stimulated and stop doubting yourself. Try it. It's amazingly effective. Next, you've got to keep your emotions in check. On your journey to success, you will encounter many stressful events, not just in business. We've got our whole personal lives as well, right? So you may even get hung up on some of these. Doing this will only drain you of the energy that you could be using to do something more productive. A critical component of persevering is to hone your ability to keep your emotions in check and let go of stress. Maintaining your calm during stressful moments can help you save your valuable energy to be used later when doing something better, right? Now, this can be easier said than done. Fully admit that and fully wrestle with it myself, but you always want to try. So to stay cool, you need to take some time to think before you speak or act. When something upsetting happens, learn to walk away from the situation and take several deep breaths. Refrain from speaking or acting on a thought until you have thoroughly thought about the issue. Take 5 to 6 deep breaths. You want to inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. So as you start to breathe in that manner, that will help give you some clarity to realize that maybe you were upset quite possibly over nothing. I don't know about you. I have never done that myself. Wink, wink. So once we can calm the storm inside, we can think a little more clearly and rationally, which helps us save valuable time and energy. So I want you to think of emotions in this light. Emotions are energy. Think of the E for energy in motion. So emotion. Emotions are wired from past experiences, and they can be roused by things that haven't even happened if the mind has had time to wire that pattern. Think worrying, right? Need I say more? Right? Have you ever thought about something that hasn't even happened? I know I have. And sometimes in hindsight, you think, man, I wasted a whole lot of time and a whole lot of energy on something that wasn't even real, right? So emotions, they're based off the past. And you can do a big fat nothing about the past, right? So we got to move on. We need to learn to be present and focus on the future goals that you have, not the past failures that you may or may not have had. Next is to know your core values. The most effective way for you to move forward in any situation is by having a firm grasp on your core values. Knowing your core values will also keep you focused on moving forward to reach your goals. Your core beliefs are the values that you stand for and the principles that you follow in your daily life in and out of the office. To figure out what your core values are, you need to learn about different perspectives and figure out what concepts, issues, ideas, and beliefs that you feel strongly about. When you find something that actively moves you, you should spend some time giving thought to it to know what your heart and soul says about it. We'll get deeper into this later in the podcast together, and it is there that we will put those core values discussion to work. And it's also where I'll discuss the power of the mind, both the conscious and subconscious aspects of it. Now, this information is absolutely fascinating and steeped in science. And if you haven't figured out by now, I'm kind of a science geek, and science means a lot to me. I'm very curious about it, the way the mind works, the way that energy works. It's fascinating to me. So when I say things like give deeper thought, we can look at that as meditating. Now you need to find a peaceful spot to sit and think on the subject that influenced you. So take a few of those breaths, like those nice deep belly breaths, before you begin to ponder. And this helps to relax your mind, slows down your thoughts, in turn allowing you to focus on a single topic. Now as you start to relax, you'll want to ruminate on the issue and let your thoughts flow freely. Find out what your mind has to say about the issue and pay attention to how you feel about it. This practice helps you to form the core values that you will always stand for. This will gradually shape your perseverance. So our core values, for the most part, now they've been adopted automatically. When we were young, we were constantly downloading from the program we were watching unfold all around us. Now, I'm not necessarily talking TV. Our mothers, fathers, teachers, and preachers had profound impacts on us. Some of that impact manifests as what to do, and other aspects, what not to do. Either way, we define ourselves based on modeling others. Getting to the true core of you takes deliberate thought and the willingness to step away from the familiar to try on something new. Like personality styles and emotional patterns, what motivates you is unique to you alone, and it will be influenced by your natural motivations and your current positioning in life, which is basically where you currently are and what you currently have. Now, it's important to pinpoint the values that matter to you at this early stage in your business or as you're considering what you really want from it. I'll also add it is crucial to consider how your core values sit with whatever it is you're hoping to achieve. Understanding your values will help you to maintain your focus, make well-informed decisions, and inspire the actions that you take as you move your life forward. Values are unique to each of us and are what make us tick. See, our values, they help us stay focused and keep on track, make appropriate decisions, connect with like-minded people, be inspired, especially when things aren't going so well. So next, we need to figure out how to deal with unexpected issues. A vital part of staying persistent and building perseverance as a character trait is to deal with the unexpected challenges and obstacles that you and every single one of us experience in the right way. So we need to deal with these hindrances and glitches that we encounter rationally, right? So we want to make sure that we can learn from our mistakes. So here are 3 straightforward ways to deal with unexpected issues. Number 1, face the harsh reality. You need to stare the harsh realities and challenges that you experience in life right in the face, right? So it's not something that's easy to do, but by doing this, you are given an edge over everyone else. This will help you manage yourself through each issue. Rather than ignoring a problem, you need to see it for what it is so you can find out how to best deal with it. You need to be truthful and honest with yourself in this regard. You also need to stop playing the blame game, right? Everyone loses that game in the end. You have power over yourself, and if you haven't been doing anything right, quote unquote, well, that is on you too. So the only person you can blame, technically, is yourself. So finally, you need to stop putting things off until tomorrow if you know that you can do that something today. Deal with any issues that arise as they arise. And number 2, carefully weigh the options. When an issue arises, you need to make a cautious, logical, and rational decision on how to deal with the problem rather than making a rash decision and regretting it later. Now, I have never done that myself. Cue the eye roll, right? So we want to be weighing our options carefully because that will help us come up with a strategic plan to move forward with our goals. As important as it is to analyze the situation on our own, it is also wise to get an opinion from someone who is experienced on the subject. Consult with them and consider their suggestions. Then take some time to weigh the pros and cons, go over the problem a final time, and create several plans that can counter it. After you have developed multiple solutions, here's the key. You want to assess each one individually, then opt for the most logical solution. And that is a gut check moment, right? So the long and the short of it is don't automatically react. Take a moment, not a week, not a month, certainly not a year, to regroup, okay? Objectively assess and then seek counsel, revise your plan, and get into motion ASAP. Being in motion is key. So third, we want to listen to our gut, the figurative one. Now your gut or your conscience should be that final deciding factor. So after you've analyzed the entire unexpected issue, you need to listen to your gut to see what it has to say. Sit somewhere quiet, again, and focus on the whole situation. Then close your eyes and think about the problem. You will begin to hear some voices or maybe even see some images. Now, this isn't some trip, I promise, but this is your conscience providing you with a message. It's not woo-woo. It's the way our brain is wired. So take the time to ponder what it is that it's saying so that you can comprehend the message. This will help you take the right step forward. Keep in mind that your thoughts are not always on the side of wild success. Your mind wants to keep you safe. Your brain is literally hardwired to do this. Now, this is our ever-present buddy, fear. I say buddy loosely, but it's like that neighbor kid that you grew up with that you let tag along but you never really liked, right? So your mind will spout off thoughts to try to keep you safe from failure, from embarrassment, from disappointment, and a whole host of other not so fun feelings. But the key here, they are just feelings. They will pass. So once you've completed these steps, you need to stand up for yourself and stand your ground on the decision you've made. Now, you may have very well made the wrong decision and the wrong choice, but it's important not to back down and learn from the mistake. This is how successful people gain insight and forge ahead on their path. I mean, it's not like you chose to fail, right? So you took a calculated risk and it didn't pan out. Big deal. Next. I couldn't even keep track of all the things I have failed at. But one thing I'm learning, and I don't know if you've heard this phrase before, but you hopefully have, fail faster. Okay? We'll get into that concept at some point on the podcast. and in my blogs, but it's important to be moving fast. The faster you get to the fail, the quicker and the closer you're going to be to the success. For you to move forward on your path to success, you need to master how to be resilient in everything you want to accomplish. So here's one of my favorite parts of this work. I want you to learn how to channel your inner Irish woman or man. So when you hear the word stubborn, what do you think? Now, if you're like most people, you instantly picture someone who has bad manners and an ill temper. Stubbornness has a bad rap, man. And it's often associated with negative traits like defensiveness, self-centeredness, being overly competitive and controlling, right? So while many of these characteristics are held by people who are stubborn, being stubborn isn't an entirely bad thing, especially when it comes to cultivating one's drive to succeed. According to Angela Duckworth, stubbornness is a crucial element of grit. Now, grit gives you that stick-to-itness that's necessary to see your goals through to the end. It gives you the power to move forward with your goals and ideas. Duckworth is a psychology professor at the University of Pennsylvania, and she's the co-founder and CEO of Character Lab. Now, she is best known as the author of Grit, The Power of Passion and Perseverance. Highly recommended read. So when you're channeling your inner Irish woman, it helps you know what you desire. Not being easily impressed with every other opinion that comes your way doesn't mean that you're self-centered. It merely says that you know exactly what you want. Gritty people are stubborn because it helps them understand precisely what they want and don't want in their life. When you are clear about your goals, you can make the right decisions and pursue your goals without becoming distracted. Gritty people have an amazing focus thanks to their stubbornness. This is why it's a good thing to be stubborn if you want to develop your grit. Now, channeling your inner Irish woman also makes you persevere at all times. When others flounder during a storm, you can keep your head held high thanks to a solid foundation of stubbornness. True, believe me, I've seen it. It helps you understand that challenges and setbacks are inevitable, and at some point, they too shall pass. That's allowing you to persevere instead of crumble. Stubbornness is the reason why gritty and successful people can fulfill every goal they set. Now, it also makes you stand by your values. Being stubborn means that you are aware of the core principles and that you will stand by them no matter what. It means that you won't follow the crowds and do something that you don't want to do. Stubbornness is what makes successful people stay true to their values and stick with what they believe matters most. And finally, you can thank your inner Irish woman because she helps make you defy the odds. Now, we all know the stats. So many set out on their ventures to only have them subverted within a few years. The odds are definitely stacked against us. But stubbornness will help you see past all of that stuff and dig deep when necessary. Staying true to yourself. It is how anybody who has accomplished anything of significance has defied the odds. Thank you for joining me on the Unraveling Together podcast. I'd love to turn this thing we've got into a dialogue. Follow me on LinkedIn at Dr. Sam Graber, where we can have conversations about all things midlife, perimenopause, and finding meaning through it all. If you want a deeper dive into exploring your midlife experience, consider joining the Unraveling Together community of rebellious midlife women. It is there that we roll up our sleeves and do the work. Unraveling Together is a resource hub, roadmap, and online coaching community curated by yours truly. We are navigating this time called midlife together, for we truly believe we are stronger together. And when unravelers are in need of an assist, they have all of us there alongside them.